everyone, and welcome to this conference session entitled Your Career, Our Commitment, Supporting Your Professional Development, which is being delivered by a few of us across the RCSLT's professional development team. Before I introduce everyone, I'm just going to go into the housekeeping for a little bit. So as I think you know already, the Q&A at the end is not entirely live. So any questions you have, just post them in the questions tab on the right-hand side of your screen. We'll answer as many as we can in the Q&A slot at the end, and then potentially respond to others afterwards through the conference platform. Please also use the chat function to share any comments and feedback that you have. Comments and feedback are really welcomed, both from other delegates, but also for us as presenters, and it gives us important insight and can help us improve future sessions on this and other topics. Also, it will earn points for you in the Challenge Hub. And speaking of that Challenge Hub, it all sounds very clandestine to an old man like me, but as we know now, a secret code appears at the screen at the end of the session. And if you enter it in the Challenge Hub, you'll earn more points and move yourself up the leaderboard. So finally, just before we start, I just want to confirm that as with all our conference sessions, this session is going to be recorded and is going to be available in the video section of the platform afterwards, and will be there for about 4-6 months. So if anything is of particular interest to you, you can watch it again. So please rest assured it's going to be there. So housekeeping done, and moving on to introductions. So this session today is going to be presented by 4 of us from the RCSLT's professional development team. That's me, Amit Kulkarni, and I'm Head of Research and Outcomes, along with Vicky Harris, who's our Head of Learning, Tom Griffin, our Professional Inquiries Manager, and Gemma Holmes, our Head of Professional Development Programs. And we're going to be talking to you about some of the resources and opportunities that we provide to support you at whatever stage you're at in your career journey and with your professional development. And we have a range of resources and opportunities across our 4 professional development sub-teams that you can see here. We have so many resources, it would be overwhelming and quite frankly very boring just to go into listing them all exhaustively. So instead of that, we thought we'd present a selection of our resources and frame these across a career journey, referring to a few resources and opportunities that are particularly relevant at these different points in an SLT career. So we're not going to be aiming to cover every single resource or opportunity. And if there are areas you want to know more about, then do contact us or go into our website, dig around to potentially find out a little bit more. Also, we might mention something at, let's say, the student stage that you think is actually very useful to you at the consultant stage, and that's fine. Lots of our resources have that flexibility, and we're really just using the career journey as a prompt for overall reflection. But if it does leave you with any uncertainties, questions, comments, then as I've already said, let us know in the Q&A or connect with us via the platform afterwards. So getting going with the resources themselves. People, of course, have different preferences and work and learn in different ways. So we endeavor for our portfolio of resources to be of many different kinds, whether it's from website, magazine, and journal publications, through e-learning and podcasts, and onto events, webinars, or specific SLT-related tools like our online outcomes tool. You can see an overview of these different types of resource here. And I'm now going to hand over to Tom, who's going to start with a focus on some that are particularly relevant for those of you who are support workers.
Thanks, Amit. So like Amit said, if we start to look at the resources and opportunities available for members, and we start with the support workers area. So the RCSLT over the last 2 years have looked to redevelop the support and guidance available for support workers and have a number of resources that can be useful for people in these roles. One such is the clinical guidance area. So this is a great way to keep informed and up to date on a large selection of clinical topics. Our clinical guidance sections offer access to latest information around best practice based on current evidence base and research. They provide access to all current learning opportunities within that specific clinical topic, including any competency frameworks that may be associated with them. You'll find a well-curated list of all national specific UK-wide policies and statistics to help with influencing and awareness and raising activities. We also have the support worker framework, which is a great way to keep, the RCSLT has developed a support work framework to support the professional training and development of support workers within the profession. The framework aims to help map core practical competencies for support workers to follow, and then guide the integration of specific competencies to a support worker's job role based on local requirements. The support workers and their supervisors can use the framework to map out appropriate development paths based on local need and identified learning requirements to facilitate learning and progression throughout within their role. In line with this, we've also developed a support worker toolkit. This is based on the support worker framework, and the toolkit provides practical tools to support implementation of this framework in services. It empowers support workers and those supporting them to really look at their own development and plot what learning needs they have individually, and link these support worker frameworks and identify role-specific competencies or learning to help support this path. RCSLT has also developed a joint statement, which is co-produced alongside other AHP professional bodies and trade unions this year, highlighting the important role of support workers in delivering high-quality services. This year, we've also gone live with our own professional networking tool, linked to our website. The professional networks area aims to provide all those involved with providing speech, language, and communication services with a platform to connect with others and share best practice throughout the profession. There's a specific professional network and SEN which has been set up for support workers in all areas of practice. So please do look and join this professional network area. It's a great way of networking with other support workers and building your own professional development. If we move on to the student and apprenticeship area. So the pre-registration eating, drinking and swallowing competencies have been developed to ensure that all speech language therapy students, regardless of where they train in the UK, will acquire the same entry-level knowledge and skills of eating, drinking and swallowing difficulties. Students and apprentices will already be seeing these used within lectures and whilst on placement to support their understanding of eating, drinking and swallowing needs. And the aim is that from 2026, all graduating students will graduate with the same level of knowledge and experience in this area. We've also developed a series of how-to guides on various formal assessments to help anyone familiarise themselves with popular assessments that they may be using, for example, on placements or when preparing for interviews. These resources provide videos and walkthroughs so that you can watch the assessment being administered and hear from experts providing tips and advice on areas to be aware of. The RCSLT's resources on evidence-based practice include specific web pages, webinars, specific podcasts, presentations, e-learning and bulletin articles to help introduce you to this cornerstone of SLT practice. The IJLCD Student Project Award is an annual initiative aiming to celebrate student academic achievement and to encourage and recognise the importance of students in the research process, offering a small cash prize and mentorship to support to write up a work to be considered for publication. The IJLCD Student Prize is a great opportunity to develop your skills and profile and experience in SLT research. UK students can make sure their HEI team is aware of the prize. And look out for the RCSLT student leadership placements. Each year we accept 4 students on this 2-week placement. It's a chance to learn about your own personal leadership style, to work as a team on a leadership-based project, and to get involved in RCSLT work. This year we'll be taking 4 students from the 2nd to the 13th of February, and applications open on the 1st of December. So do look out for this through the RCSLT student e-newsletter, on our website, our social media avenues, and all other communication channels. Onto the newly qualified practitioner role. So the RCSLT NQP Hub has been set up and is a set of curated web pages full of resources and guidance to help NQPs and those supporting NQPs during this important transitional stage. The resources include guidance and information on the NQP goals to guide you through their completion and to embed them into your practice. You'll also find advice and guidance on other career routes, including starting in a research setting, voluntary work, and working in other settings as well. The RCSLT has also developed some Introduction to e-learning series, which is a great resource consisting of short video content on a variety of topics, including how to get the most out of your supervision. All of these are hosted on our RCSLT CPD site and can be used for your professional development and your CPD requirements. Now, we touched on the clinical guidance previously. RCSLT has produced a wide range of both clinical and professional guidance to help support members' day-to-day work and their professional development. All of our clinical guidance provides best practice guidelines based around specific clinical areas to help support members within their workplace. They also direct members toward local and national policy in this field, as well as helping members access the latest evidence base. Similarly, the RCSLT's professional guidance aims to support members by providing tools and guidelines to help them meet current HCPC standards. Joining a professional network, there's a number of different professional networks that the RCSLT has, SENS and hubs being two of them. With SENS, members at all career stages are welcome, and it's a great development opportunity and can be used to support your NQP goals. They're a fantastic way of networking with therapists in areas that interest you, and a cheap and accessible way of accessing the latest evidence base and research in that field. The RCSLT currently has over 100 registered SENS based around a wide variety of clinical areas, both locally and nationally. RCSLT hubs provide a platform for everyone working within speech and language therapy within a certain region to share local knowledge and address regional issues as one voice. These professional networks provide a great development opportunity and can be used to support your NQP goals and further professional learning. Now I'm going to pass over to Vicky for the next section.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Amit, for moving the slides. Thank you. Yes, now I'm just going to point out that on the top right-hand corner, I'm hoping, of your screens, there is a QR code. And if you use your phone or whatever device to click on that, you should then get a copy of the screen which has all of the links that you can access. So it should make things a bit easier for you. So that may be a tip that you can use. And also to go back to what Amit reminded us about, all of these opportunities can be used at any stage. We're not about saying that different things are for different people, because we recognise the flexibility of your careers. So just sort of putting that out there as well. So when you're a full member, you might want to be thinking about looking at the route. The online outcome tool is a really incredible resource. It helps you to track and understand the outcomes for the individuals that you support in your service. So this really can help you to make sure that you are being person-centred in your practice and focused on what matters to your service users the most. You can also explore thinking about different outcomes across different groups within your caseload rather than just individuals, and start using that data. Maybe take some time to reflect on what's working well, where there may be opportunity to try to improve or try a new approach. And all of this is a really good thing to discuss with your supervisor and think about how you take this forwards with your CPD and be thinking about your evidence approach to practice. And while we're talking about CPD, as I always do, it's a good time to mention the professional development framework. So this came out in 2023, and it is a very flexible tool for using to plan your CPD. And it could be for you to map yourself in and see where you're strong and maybe where you need development, and also think about where you would like to be headed with the things that really interest you, and how to sort of scaffold to get to those. So it's a really good thing to do. Maybe map yourself in with a critical friend or with your supervisor, or just do it on your own and have a little reflection. So that's two really useful tools. And then we've got the clinical academic careers web pages, packed full of stuff. So if you're starting to consider maybe that you want to go in a more sort of clinical academic career direction, this is going to give you all of the information you need to know about that exciting career route. And then you may have heard of research champions. Now, these are SLTs who they really share the RCSLT vision for an evidence-based and research active profession. They have experience of appraising and applying a range of evidence to clinical practice, and they help to facilitate the application and gathering of evidence within their organizations. And they can use evidence-based practice, audit, evaluation, quality improvement, and research to support that practice. So it's a really good community to join, and you will get guidance with any of those things if you need it as well. So I've been told to make you aware that the network there's a re-registration happening in January, so that's not very far away now. So there will be a little form to come out for you to re-register for the network. Very short number of questions about what you would like to see from the network, and we'll go from there. So look forward to that coming out soon. And then finally, you might want to think about a minor grant. So minor grants are available to those who have been members for after 2 full years, and they cover up to £800 for your professional development. And this could be for a learning module, a book, attendance at a conference, whatever. And the panel meets 3 times a year, so the next deadline is on February the 16th. So I expect to see a few more applications in now. I've told you that. Brilliant, thanks. So the next phase is enhanced practice. So if you could just move the slide, please. Thank you. So again, we've got loads of stuff going on here. Tom mentioned the professional guidance and resources in an earlier stage, but now you might be thinking at an enhanced practice about using that for influencing service planning and improvement. So those are really, really useful tools for you to use. We also have some enhanced practice web pages if you are interested in finding out more. So there's lots of resources there about things going on and things you can read up. But if you are perhaps from a university and you are thinking that you might want to run an enhanced practice course, you can also have a look at that and get in touch with us to find out more. So we're very interested in speaking to people about that. And of course, we mustn't forget the fabulous bulletin. There's a part in the bulletin called RC Experts, and that is a great place to find out more about topical clinical questions. So each episode, each publication, we get a topical clinical question that is answered by a leading expert, and it's based upon a narrative review of the evidence. And it's always finished off with top tips for practicing clinicians, and it's a really great way to help you guide your specialist practice. Then we have the Clinical Academic Mentors Network, which I found very hard to say for no reason at all. So as you approach your specialism, if you've got a specific question that you're looking to explore, you could discuss with a mentor about this who can help you to design and carry out your evaluation project. And then finally, SEND committees, as Tom mentioned, we've got loads of them. But you might now be thinking about becoming a bit more involved in your local, your SEN of interest. So you could help to actually shape the conversations there and help to shape events that are coming and the way its strategy. But I would say that members at all stages are welcome for whatever stage in the career you're at. And also there is the role of a hub committee chair, which can be something for more experienced SLTs as well. Okay, so that's enhanced. Thank you, Amit. And now we go on to advanced, so people working across those 4 pillars of practice. Here are some of the opportunities available to them. So like with the enhanced practice practitioners, we also have a resource hub where you can find out everything about what it means and find out more about what's going on. And we also have a 1-page newsletter, which you are welcome to sign up to. So I think all the details are on that page. I would be telling you more, but my colleague, Will, who is leading on the advanced stuff, is actually doing a presentation at this moment. So, but I can put you in touch with him if you'd like to know more. In terms of research, we have the SAGE research methods, and so this is an online collection to sort of broaden and deepen your understanding of research methods. It's got a really cool project planner to help you to plan your research project, and a which stats test to identify the appropriate statistical method for data analysis. And I'm going to data Amit, he's put too many S's in that for me. So there's that. Then there's also the research newsletter and funding and opportunities web pages. And these are updated every 2 months. So there's always lots going on there. And they provide a handy review of all of the latest resources and opportunities in research, and a great way to keep up with what's going on. And then obviously there are opportunities to really get involved. So you can really help us by sharing those job descriptions and work plans and business cases that are working at advanced practice. That really helps us to build that sort of evidence base of where it's working and what people are doing. And you can use that clinical and professional guidance for influencing decision makers, as I mentioned before. And you might like to get involved in some of our current projects, and also involved in our Advancing Practice Professional Network to link up with your peers. So that's advanced. Thank you, Amit. And finally, for me, the consultant section. So again, obviously, everything we've mentioned is already at your disposal, and to be aware that at this stage, you'll probably be helping to shape a lot of that stuff. So you'll be really heavily involved in the shaping of your profession. But there are some things to think about. So you can, you can get involved in supporting the research. So get in touch about your research if you'd like to have our help with that. So if you'd like help with considering your recruitment opportunity, providing perhaps a letter of support for your funding bid, or joining your advisory board, please do get in touch, because we're very keen to support. And then we have our Research and Outcomes Forum in the bulletin. And in this, we reflect on the current questions facing the profession, the research community profession, in our dedicated R&O column in bulletin. And so just an example of some current topics we've had: joining our AHP research community, and that's about the community for allied health professions and research, otherwise known as CAPA, or what's in a name. And that was focusing on the consistent use of diagnostic terminology to support SLT data collection. Then you might like to think about using our research priorities. And so these have been developed across clinical communities to bring consensus to the idea of what's priority. And so that really helps you to feed into where there is gaps and urgency in the research. So that's all very welcome. And finally, there's still lots of opportunities to be involved. We are particularly at the moment looking for peer reviewers for the International Journal of Language and Communication Disorders. So if you're interested, please do get in touch with Amit. We are also always looking for clinical advisors and leadership advisors to help give back to the profession and be leaders in that space. And also we are often looking for people to represent RCSLT on external projects, such as for stroke guidance and NICE guidelines. And I think that's me. Thanks. I'll hand over to Gemma. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. Now, Amit earlier on highlighted the range of different information resources that we provide to members. As head of the professional guidance team, I was really keen to highlight some of our recently published guidance. You'll see that there's a real range of information here. Some of these are updates to existing guidance, whereas some of them are brand new guidance in sort of newer emerging areas, such as awake craniotomy and high resolution manometry. If you aren't familiar with our professional guidance, then please do take a look on our website. You'll find A to Z lists on there, but do drop us an email if you're finding it tricky to make your way there. I'm also listing on this page some of our guidance which will be published in the next few months. Again, some of these are updates to existing information. There's lots of professional guidance and coming up. But there's also brand new guidance topics, for example, our cognitive communication disorders information. So just moving on to opportunities for members to get involved in this work. So all of our guidance and resources are developed with and by our members. We use our member e-newsletter as well as other channels to give all members the opportunity to apply to be on our working groups, for example, for professional guidance. We would also invite all members to respond to guidance projects anyway, to respond to a scoping survey to find out what some of the key issues are in the profession. And we will also consult later on in the project on the draft guidance as well. Once guidance is published, we do conduct 1 year on surveys to find out if members are aware of the new guidance and also if they're using it and has it supported their practice. So this helps us to evaluate and improve our guidance. So please do take the opportunity to respond to those. We're really keen for members at all stages of their career to get involved in all of our projects, including guidance development, whether he's students or an NQP or sort of working at that advanced level. Having this range of perspectives really helps to ensure that our guidance and resources meet the needs of the membership. So this slide, the next couple of slides actually, highlights some specific opportunities for members to take part in our work over the coming year. So this slide focuses on our guidance development. So you'll see that we're recruiting to a number of projects over the next few months, and then later on in 2026, we've got some consultations coming up. If anyone does have any questions, please do get in touch. So moving on to the next slide. This one has some broader opportunities across the professional development team and research and learning. So we mentioned the research champions earlier. This will be relaunched in the new year. There's also an opportunity to be involved in the new IJLCD peer reviewer development scheme, which is a really important role if you're interested in a clinical academic career path. You can, of course, sign up for the RCSLT online outcomes tool or the route. If you're interested in becoming a clinical academic mentor or requesting a mentorship, then please do get in touch at any point. I mentioned the e-learning. So similarly to guidance development, we ask for members to be involved in the development of creating these e-learning resources and test them as well further down the line. And in terms of advanced practice, please do get in touch if you'd like to help us with reimagining advanced practice. If you're interested in any of these opportunities, please do contact us at info@rcslt.org. As I said before, we send out all of our opportunities in the member e-newsletter, so that is the place to keep an eye on. It comes out every fortnight, and that will have all the current information. We also have a current projects webpage on our website as well. One of the, well, there's a number of benefits actually to getting involved in the work of the RCSLT. You can help shape guidance and resources to ensure that they are useful for you and for the wider profession. It's an opportunity to develop your skills and knowledge in a particular area and then take that back to your service. The HCPC counts these activities towards their CPD requirements, and it looks really strong on your CV. Being part of a working group is also a networking opportunity. So we now have a few minutes to answer some of your questions from the Q&A. So I'll just take a look at what questions have come through. So someone's asked a question about how these opportunities are disseminated. And as I said, like the key the key channel really is the member newsletter, but we do try to get this information out to members as widely as possible. We have the bulletin, although the information isn't as current, for example. Again, you can check our website or just get in touch with us, our inquiries team. Another question that's come through. Are there any peer sessions through RCSLT where members can discuss ideas for CPD? Vicky, is that one you can answer?
Yeah, that's a good question. So is it, I presume this is just just ideas that you've had. Well, there aren't any formal sessions, but now you've got me thinking. But if you want to get in touch with me because you've got some ideas, I'm very, very open to being contacted. So I think you put a link to an email in the discussion. So I'm very happy for people to get in touch and to give me their ideas and have a chat. But also, you know, if this could be a goer for a bigger idea, then I'm here for it. So yeah, thank you.
I think we could also suggest, Vicky, that this is one of the areas that sends Excel in the fact that it's a great way of peers to network with each other. Our new professional networks area is very much one of those networking tools where peers can ask each other questions and respond to each other directly or as a group. So there'd be a great way of doing that as well. Similarly, our professional networks area, we do have specific groups around newly qualified practitioners, students and support workers, as I said before. So not necessarily clinical, a clinical specific area, but more a sort of a career stage area where people can post similar questions and network with peers. So I think there are a number of areas, but I think we can definitely work on that as well.
Okay. Thank you. We've got a question about the professional development framework. Does it support speech and language therapists who are not in a specific SLT post, but being a registered AHP is a requirement for the job, and they still want to maintain their CPD and registration?
Yeah, indeed. So obviously you will still have to keep up with your CPD for your HCPC audit if you are going to still be registered as an SLT. But the framework is really designed so that it can be extremely flexible. So you can use it to think about where your gaps are, and you can think about it to think about where you are planning, where you'd like to go to. And you can think about also using it as a tool to show the range of stuff you're doing around the area of speech and language therapy as well, and the types of work you are doing. So, but again, if you want to have a chat, I'm very, very open to having a chat with you about that. And if you have any further questions, if I haven't explained that fully, please, send another message. Thanks.
Okay, so someone else is first of all saying that this is all really great information and thank you, which is really good to hear. They're also asking about the professional development framework and if an update is underway or planned.
That is a very good question. Yeah, so you may have seen that we have a poster in the poster section. If you haven't, do have a look. Basically, the framework came out in 2003. And we did a lot of promotion of the framework and lots of webinars and going out to visit people and sort of helping to embed it. But after a while, we wanted to check that it's being, it's the best it can be and it's most effective, and it's always good practice to update. So we did get we asked Bristol Speech and Language Therapy Research Unit to run an evaluation of it, which was a mixed methods evaluation with some a whole member survey and then deeper questioning of people who'd suggested in that survey that they'd like to be asked further. So now we have a set of themes to develop on, and so we're going to be looking at updating those over the next 6 months so that it also coincides with the new CPD diary, which you also may have heard of in this session today. So I hope it helps. What is coming soon? It's not major change, but it is more around things to make it more adaptive to what people have asked for. I hope that helps.
Thanks, Vicky. There's quite a few questions coming in here. There's one here which talks about having seen the guidance on awake craniotomy and other more niche roles. And they're saying that it can be difficult to actually get experience in them or get close to entering these areas. How would RCSLT recommend getting opportunities to witness these areas or develop knowledge or support when applying for limited roles in these areas? Tom, is that something that you might be able to answer?
Again, a really great question, and probably one we probably need to take away and think about a bit more as well. We do have a bank of clinical experts and clinical advisors that we can link members up with to help support with any questions they may have, and they may be able to help support linking people up with how they can get involved with those areas. Again, I keep harping on about SENS, but the SENS are they're member led, and they tend to be groups based around clinical, specific clinical areas, and niche areas like this are areas where SENS can develop and can add some value. So looking at the SENS and seeing where there may be SENS that they could access that could link people up with other members in this area. But yeah, a really good question. I think it's something we probably need to take away and think about how we can link members up with people in these areas when we're developing the guidance.
But you know what, Tom? I think that's really interesting thinking about the SENS, because that is part of developing experience in that area. You might not be on the placement itself, but you will be learning about the latest things that are going on in that area. And the question itself reminds me a little bit of questions that we receive in the research team about wanting to embark on a research project in a specific area, maybe not currently having established links to key researchers in that area. What can people do about that? And we do have formal kind of networks to facilitate that. So we've talked about our clinical academic mentors networks, where you can submit a request for mentorship with a particular set of skills or in a particular area. And if we can, we'll find you some. But often the best way is just the papers you are reading in that area, contact the authors or the lecturers that work at your local university in that area. Just get in touch with them. People really love talking about their work, which is often their life and soul. So often just that direct contact, either through the professional network site or just directly, is a really positive way to go.
Thank you. There's a question here about who do we contact about getting involved in the development of guidelines. Very happy for people to contact me directly, or as I said before, you can just email RCSLT on info@rcslt.org, and you can be directed to the appropriate team. But we'd be really pleased to hear from anyone that is interested in getting involved in any of our work. Just have a quick flick through. I'm not sure we'll be able to get to all of these questions, but as we said earlier, if you revisit the platform, we will respond to them by the end of the conference. Someone's asking a question about the route, actually, and who the best person to contact is to take part in that.
We have our route inbox, so you can send a direct email to route@rcslt.org. So I think that's probably the best way if you have a specific question. Alternatively, we've got web pages about the RCSLT outcomes programs. You might be able to find the information there. And I realize all of this is sort of maybe going in and out as you're listening. So just going via our info line will send your query to Tom, who knows that RCSLT inside and out, and will pass your query on to the right person. So as Gemma was saying earlier, that's info@rcslt.org.
Thank you. Thank you very much to everyone for joining this afternoon's session. And as I said, if anyone's interested in being involved in any of the work across the professional development team, or if you've got any questions at all, please do get in touch.